What's going on, Eagles World? It's your boy, Showtime 804. Back at it like we never left. So that was a very, very troubling game to try to sit and stomach through. It's like, as an Eagle fan, you can never sit back and watch, 60 minutes of football comfortably. There's always something that happens, something that wants to go wrong, something that can go wrong, will go wrong. I'm glad we pulled this W out. It was a hard-fought game. But it's a lot of concerns that go on. I want to be positive about this video. Carson Wentz played a hell of a game. Boston Scott as well. People just picked up in different aspects where they needed to. But no one's without fault throughout this game. Showed a lot of resiliency. But we're going to go ahead and dive into this. The play calling. I don't know what's gonna have to take hold. Doug's gonna have to, put on his big boy pants and concede play calling. Give the game to somebody with a fresher set of eyes. I don't know if it's somebody who's in the booth needs to call the plays or something that can see the field and can see what's going on, because some of those play calls are just atrocious. It's just like we see wide receiver screen after wide receiver screen, and they go nowhere. There's no creativity whatsoever in our play calling. Quiet game by Fulgham today. Richard Rodgers surprised me. He had a hell of a game. He was very consistent in his game. John Hightower was another one. He caught that long pass. I believe it was for 57 yards. And we're seeing one of those, at least one of those a game from him. So there's some things in his game that he just needs to work on as far as his route running and deep ball tracking. It was a little frustrating at the beginning of the game, the first drive, to see them try to force feed Deshaun Jackson the ball. He's been great for us in the past, but it's almost like what my grandmother used to say, people either going to be in your life for a reason or for a season. And some people's on this team, the seasons are gone. They're past due. So we just shouldn't be. He should have earned his spot back. What I'm getting into, just to implement him as the starter. We've been kind of seeing some progress out of the younger guys in recent weeks, and just to try to force feed him the ball to cater to an ego is not a good move. It doesn't sit right with some of the younger players who kind of earn those spots. It was good to see some of the players who we've criticized continuously. JJ caught a nice pass today. And I think that was his only target. We didn't see any more out of him. Nate Gerry. There's no way that he can make it through a film session without being roasted by his teammates. He had a nice play on that sack, and he almost coughed it up trying to go for the strip sack, and it was just bad. It was bad technique in it, and it was just like, luckily Daniel Jones went down. Jalen Mills also got an interception. That was one thing that was concerning to me about this team. A lot of times when we see our passes, when we're on offense and our passes get tipped up, there's always a defender in the area some way, somehow, that can try to make a play on the ball. And we never get that same kind of coincidence on defense. It's just always someone who's never around. If the ball gets tipped up and we're nowhere in sight, nowhere close to where we need to be. Nickell Robey-Coleman, he needs to cease with this slot guard mess, because clearly that time is come and gone. He's not a slot guard. Evan Ingram had a field day with him. So did Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard. A lot of those guys kind of had their way with Nickell Robey-Coleman. Even on that busted play from Daniel Jones, if you look at about the 50-yard marker, you can see Robey-Coleman giving up on the play. He just basically stops running. And you can't have that. You want guys giving maximum effort at all times on the field. So it just wasn't a good look. He didn't have his best game, and I haven't seen a best game from him since he's stepped foot in Philadelphia. So he's another guy whose time has come. His time was with another organization. His time was with the Rams. His time was with the Bills. Since he's come to us, he's a thing of the past. The defensive line, Jim Schwartz did kind of mix it up things as far as pressure. I saw some good blitzes. They weren't timely blitzes like I would have preferred. But nonetheless, he did bring the pressure that was warranted because you can't just have Daniel Jones just sitting back throwing darts. It's just no, we can't have that. That one play with Darius Slay on that Sterling Shepard touchdown, I believe it was in the fourth quarter. That was, I've seen on Twitter and on Instagram that Darius Slay is taking a lot of flack from that play. That play was a miscommunication. It looks like they lined up at man, but then they kind of switched off into a zone right at the snap, and that's more so of the play calling and scheme as opposed to the individual play. And also, the referees were atrocious in this game. Just play after play that we didn't get the right calls for. We had a play in the end zone where you can clearly see Logan Ryan holding one of our guys in the end zone. He goes to the sideline and laugh about it. It's just plays like that. And Sterling Shepard, a lot of times you see him extend his arm, pushing off, and they're calling the plays on defensive holding, which is you can see the guy's full arm extended, and it's just like calls need to be reviewed. I want to say from New York. Like I'm not into the whole coaches challenging plays, but if you want to get the play right, have the Mike Pereiras and the Jerry Blandinos. Have somebody from the league office call in, buzz the referee and say, hey, you know what? You need to come back and take a look at this play again, rather than just a coach challenging the play, because every play isn't reviewable. And that seems unfair because, these are humans, and human error is going to come in anytime that you're having to make a judgment call. So I think in order to get the plays right, rather than having a coach challenge, have somebody from the league office buzz down on the field and be like, just stop the play. We need to take a look at this. Because you also look into the play that happened with Deshaun Jackson on the punt return where he took a helmet-to-helmet shot followed by a late hit, but yet only one flag was called. These are after the whistle calls. These are unnecessary roughness calls, so those yards should have been tacked on. But outside of that, I never want to be the guy who criticizes and say, oh, we lost or we won because of an official. It's just ticky-tack. You lose on the field how you play. And like I said, some of those play calls is just Doug. It's just the Jalen Hurts thing. It's time to stop that. It's either going to be read option left or read option right. That's the call. Teams know now. They know that they're sniffing this out as soon as he takes the field. There's no creativity involved certain weeks. Line both of them up in shotgun. Confuse somebody. Do something different. We don't want to see Carson Wentz split out wide. He's not getting the ball. Just things like that. It's just such vanilla play calling. Running Corey Clement when Boston Scott has the hot hand. No, just stop that. If Corey Clement can get, his bones in the passing game, then do that. But stop trying to run him. He's not running the ball. He's not good at running the ball anymore. Those times have come and gone for him. And it's sad because he's still such a young player. Let's see, what else do we got to talk about? Special teams. Jake Elliott, it's almost time for him to be promoted to fan. As I said in my earlier video, try to give him the benefit of the doubt instead of him kicking longer field goals just to start. He came in and got the extra point, so that was a good thing. That he kicked another field goal, and then after that, he kind of just caught a case of the yips. And I would definitely bring in somebody just to work them out. Maybe if it's a mental thing, you brought in a quarterback to kind of get Carson Wentz to fly right. And Jake Elliott needs the same thing. I don't think any player on this roster is above that, where you just bringing in, competition for them. Jordan Mailata is playing far better than I ever thought he could play. He is pretty much holding his own at left tackle, and I would hate to see them, try to bring back Jason Peters and send Mailata to the bench. Jason Peters at this point needs to be the swing tackle when he comes back. Because the whole Lane Johnson thing, Lane Johnson starting to look like Jason Peters out on that field, trying to fight through injuries. And like I said earlier, I would have let him rest. If he's going to miss a game on Sunday, don't bring him back on the game on Thursday. That just makes no sense. Bring him back for the Dallas game. That way he can get a full 2 weeks to prepare and heal himself. If the injury is that bad with that ankle, he just had surgery in August. So rushing him back, I wouldn't have done that. Let's see, who else do we have to talk about? Like I said, this game, it had its ups and downs. We scored on the first drive, which led us something to hold our hat on. But then as the game wore on, it's just like typical 2020 Eagles fashion. Vinny Curry. I don't like seeing him at the defensive end anymore. I think he is more suited as a pass rushing defensive tackle in those pass rushing situations. Jannard Avery is a much better player off the edge, and tonight I don't even think he dressed. I didn't see him on the field once at all. It's just, and then playing guys out of position. Well, we had Nate Herbert lined up at left guard for the past 2 weeks. Then you switch him over to right guard for another guy who's making his first career start. We have to have some continuity on this offensive line. If Nate Herbert was playing best at left guard or right guard, keep him there. Don't move him around. It makes no sense. And you getting these guys, especially on a short week. You know, he's been playing in one spot for the last couple of weeks. Don't move him. It gets frustrating. It's like you really wonder if Howie Roseman is calling these shots or who's playing where, because some of these moves just don't make any sense at all. But so we got the next 10 days off. Now we've got Dallas. This isn't going to be a walk in the park, even though the way Dallas got slaughtered last week against Arizona. They're going to come to play. We're going to have to be able to match them up. They're not going to just, lay down 2 weeks in a row. As much as we want them to, I don't see it happening. Our defense has to come to play. I know what I wanted to talk about. Like I said, with Vinny Curry, on that Daniel Jones run, that play happened because Vinny Curry crashed too hard inside. And then again, we're in single high safety. So you've got Rodney McLeod, who's not the fastest defensive back, trying to cover so much ground. It's just disheartening sometimes just to watch all of our hard work go to waste. Will Parks, I thought he was going to be a better presence on defense, but that play where Daniel Jones overthrew Evan Ingram at the end of the game, that was on us. We should have lost this game because of that single play, but I'm never going to give a win back, but we'll take that. Next week against Dallas, we got some work to do. I have full confidence in my quarterback. This is the first week where he's had more touchdowns than interceptions and turnovers. So that is one thing that we can hang our hat on. He's now at, I believe, 10 touchdowns and 10 interceptions on the season. So he's finally evened that out after 6 weeks. So we just got to button some things up. Hopefully once these guys get healthy, we'll see a different team and we can move forward. But I'm not in favor of taking guys out who played well for older guys who just, trying to hold on to a legacy. That's not the case. But let's go ahead and take this victory home. Like I said, we got 10 days off, so we should have some good stuff coming to us this week. Hopefully there's going to be some roster movement, some trades taking place where we know one guy who won't be traded is going to be Zach Ertz because he officially went on IR, and you can't trade players on IR. But go ahead and take this win home, Eagles Nation, and we're going to get back to it when we can.